I was supposed to speak in the welfare reform report stage in the House of Commons today, but unfortunately I wasn't chosen. So here I'm going to share what I plan to say. I stand here to speak to new Clause 8. This welfare reform bill is one of the most inhumane pieces of legislation to come out of a UK government for a long time. It beggars belief that my colleagues on the opposite benches are seriously considering telling hard-working families already living on the breadline to tighten their belts still further, that they're contemplating pulling the rug from under households already reliant on food banks, that they think it's appropriate to encourage people back into the dole because they can no longer afford to work. Whatever happened to the Tory mantra of making work pay? Without this amendment, letters will start arriving on people's doorsteps in time for Christmas. George Osborne, akin to Ebenezer Scrooge, tries to spin the line that his newly rebranded minimum wage will more than make up for any shortfall in household budgets. But this fabulous bounty he tempts us all with excludes the under-25s, does not come fully into effect for another 5 years, and even then, according to the Office of Budget Responsibility, will at best only offset 27% of the drop in household incomes from the impact of net tax and benefit reforms. He is effectively telling families that he's going to plunge them into further poverty now and will partially pull them out in 2020. Not so much jam tomorrow, more like scraps from the table. The government's rhetoric is that tax credits cost too much and are a drain in the public purse. But the solution cannot be to cut this support with nothing in place to mitigate it. Families being driven further into debt and poverty are not families who will help grow the economy. Families forced to beg for food are not going to be spending money in the local high street. Families forced to choose between heating and eating are in no position to keep this country out of another recession. I believe this government has a very distorted view of those receiving welfare assistance. They are not benefit scroungers. They don't choose or want to rely on additional support. They are families who want to earn a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. Families who with a little money in their back pockets at the end of the week could contribute to this country's economic recovery. The new so-called living wage and a bit of tinkering with tax thresholds is simply not going to cut it. The SNP oppose this UK government's shameful attacks on low-income families. 350,000 children in Scotland will feel the impact of the cuts as they rip away the safety net of the social security system. The austerity measures are disproportionately hitting the poorest and most vulnerable, while giving tax breaks to your mates, and you want us to spend 167 billion on Trident while cutting 12 billion from support to those most in need. This government has lost its way, and if these changes go ahead, they won't be passed in my name.